Welcome to the latest edition of Sports City, your home of sports analysis, both local and international. You are with me, Bill Clinton Odhiambo, alongside my colleague Felix Makona. Our sign language interpreter this afternoon is Wanja Ngede. Makona, how are you doing?
Today I'm great.
Uko salama kabisa?
Kabisa?
Yes.
100%.
Wanasema happy Valentine. Uko sawa?
I'm good.
Wonderful.
Happy Valentine's. We have our lovers somewhere.
Yes.
And most probably, those that love us
Right.
are the one that we love.
Amen.
So after a year, we will be taking flowers. I know many have started taking flowers this morning, but we, after the show, because we love football, and then love comes second. So after the show, we are going to take our flowers to where it is. But despite all that, it is a day to celebrate your lover.
Right.
Go on and celebrate your lover, but not only today, because it is just a special day set aside for those who love each other.
Okay.
But when you love your partner every day, every time, that is the best. Not only today, but let the love continue. Let the fire keep burning. So that is it.
So, mimi sisemi kitu. Our channels of communication are officially open. 0111 980384 is our SMS and WhatsApp number. Science TV Kenya across all social media platforms. Kama Makona amesema, mnaweza mtumia flowers hapo. And other opinions as well as far as football and matters sports is concerned this afternoon. We have a lot to unpack. But then again, a lot of action this weekend, both from local news, local action, international news, international action as well. Let me tell you, Makona, najua tuko na mambo za local za kusemeza kidogo. In the international scene, watu wanavutwa kazi left, right and center. Managers losing jobs, others being appointed. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, with the latest being Thomas Frank from Tottenham, Lipigwa Kalamu. Pia Nottingham Forest waliachilia Sean Dyche, the relegation master. I don't know what the idea is that behind that, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's start off with some local news and some local sports action to cover. As far as the Hsbc sevens is concerned, we're having a major rugby tournament, or should I say, competitions going on in the country. The Hsbc sevens 2, which is the second tier of the global rugby sevens circuit. It is making its first leg here in Nairobi. The 2026 season is currently taking place here in Nairobi at the Nyayo National Stadium, and is due to take place for 2 days. That is the 14th and the 15th of February. So, Makona unajua pia, kwa wale wanapendana sana, hapo unachukulianga mtu wako, mwanadada anachukulia mwenzake tiketi ya kuenda kuona sports. So we have already seen some highlights. The stadium already is literally half full, but we are seeing a lot of fans coming in. We're going to bring you a detailed analysis of some of the games happening, of course, coming from that is from our Monday subsequent bulletin with Makona and the likes, that is our fellow colleague as well, Mololo. But then again, as far as the HSBC is concerned, the tournament, the men's team, Shujaaz, we are having 6 teams being represented in the tournament. Kenya, USA, then you also have Uruguay, Germany, Canada, and Belgium. Those are the men's teams as far as the tournament is concerned. As far as the women's teams is concerned, we have Kenya, represented, of course, by the Lioness team. And also we have Brazil as part of the teams. We have China and Spain, South Africa, and Argentina, who are also trying their luck as far as qualifying for the sevens is concerned. Makona, before we get even to Mambo's results day one, because Team Kenya has already played pale, Shujaaz wamecheza, the Lioness pia wamecheza. What do you make of this particular tournament? Kuja hapa nyumbani, being the first country to host the first leg.
It is called a privilege.
Yes.
This is a privilege to Kenya. To host such a tournament, it requires a country that is prepared, a country that values sportsmanship.
Right.
So Kenya has been chosen among many. You know, this competition is worldwide.
Right.
A country like Belgium coming to Kenya, like Germany.
Right.
You know, Belgium and Germany themselves, they have the capacity to hold.
Powerhouse.
They are the soccer powerhouse, or they are rugby powerhouse in this world.
Right.
And coming to Kenya, that shows that we are being honored as Kenyans to host the world sevens. And, you know, in this competition, HSBC, you find that countries like Belgium, France, Russia, coming to Kenya just for this, even USA themselves, they are here. Coming to Kenya, I will say is looking something like an irony, is looking something like it is
Kama video, kama drama.
Kama video, this thing is not reality, but it is reality. They are here in Kenya.
Right.
And this rugby sevens, Kenya Shujaaz, they will be opening their game against Canada. That will be on the ladies' side.
Right.
They will be opening their game. Ladies' side.
Actually, Shujaaz, the men's side are open. They opened against Canada and they already won 29-12 in the early hours in the morning. And the Kenya Lioness, also the women's side, won 15-12 against Brazil in the opening match.
So that means it is a strong start.
Right.
To the competition.
Right.
And also, we have to go until the final.
Yes.
That's where I'm aiming, because, you know, if you look at the Kenya Rugby Sevens, they are really, really playing very well.
Exactly.
That's for sure. Beating Canada is not for everyone. Canada have won this competition severally.
Okay.
This is a country that knows how to play rugby.
Right.
Also, Kenyans beating them in the opener. It means that if we go with the same spirit, we are going to back this HSBC Sevens.
Exactly.
And that is for sure. Even for the ladies, winning their first game, it means we are in the right trajectory as a nation.
Right.
We are hoping that as we continue, we are going to bag this thing.
Okay. Now, this 2026 Sevens, the season schedule, this is how it looks like. This leg in Nairobi that has just begun today is the first of 3 scheduled legs that are supposed to happen throughout the 2026 season. Nairobi, Kenya, 14th and 15th February. That is today and tomorrow. Then the competition will then move to Montevideo in Uruguay from the 21st to the 22nd of March. And then Sao Paulo, Brazil, from the 28th to the 29th of March. And just like you've said, rightly so, we've kicked off really well. And hopefully, in these 3 legs, we do perform very well, both the Lioness and the team Shujaaz as well, because the top 4 men's and women's teams at the end of these 3 legs will advance to the HSBC 7th World Championship Series that will be played in Hong Kong, Spain, and France. So we are rooting for Team Kenya, both Shujaaz and Lionesses, to go out there and make us proud, make themselves proud as well, and most importantly, not forget to enjoy themselves. Pale nyumbani, wherever you are, make sure you can support Team Kenya in any way you can. I know the tickets are already sold out, but through social media, through your platforms, pale WhatsApp, pale Instagram, whatever, just make sure you rally your support for Team Kenya. That is the Shujaaz, the Kenya Shujaaz, that is the men's team, and also the Kenya Lionesses, the women's team. Just like I said earlier, tumeanza vizuri with the men's team dispatching Canada and winning let me just get that again, 29-12 against Canada, then winning 15, the Lionesses winning 15-12 against Brazil in the opening matches. That is a good start. And Makona, let's now switch off to the KPL. Matters, another local area we're supposed to look out this afternoon. We had a kickoff, early kickoff happening this afternoon, where Bandari were welcoming FC Leopards in their ground. The game has already kicked off at 2 p.m. Later on, we'll be having Posta Rangers against Shabana. Then later on today, also we have Madara United against Tusker FC. Najua Bandari imeshaanza, lakini how do you see this one coming out? Do we see FC Leopards, who are at the moment second, only a few points, 4 points behind Gor Mahia in the table? Is this an opportune time for them wafunge this bridge and close the gap?
As we speak already,
that is a score.
Yeah, that's a score for AFC Leopards.
All right.
And they are already 39 points, 1 point behind Gor Mahia. That's for sure. The way Bandari plays this season, I can say AFC Leopards are going to win here up to 4 goals.
Okay.
That's for sure. And also, there was Nairobi City Stars took to the court to go and claim that the game that was postponed
the other day,
1-1 against Gor Mahia, it should be replayed. So, according to me, my trajectory is Nairobi United want to win against Gor Mahia. So if they win, it means they will be level on points together with AFC Leopards.
Right.
And also remember, if Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards continue to win their games, and that Mashemeji derby that will make the two teams meet,
That will be tie.
that will be the decider of the SportPesa Premier League winner.
Right.
According to my view, Kakamega Homeboys, Shabana FC and Murang'a Seal cannot climb from 31 points. Then Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, both of these two teams drop points. To allow Kakamega Homeboys or Shabana to climb to the second. No.
Right.
The contest is between AFC Leopards and Gor Mahia.
Wonderful.
That's for sure.
Speaking about Shabana, they're in action later on against Posta Rangers. And they're coming up with this game with a 1-0 win against Bandari FC that they got last time out. You've rightly mentioned, yes, they are fourth with 31 points. Then clearly, yes, FC Leopards have started really well. Kakamega Homeboys will be playing on later on, I think, sometime tomorrow. Then Shabana should also maintain the same momentum to try and win. Ama namna gani?
That's for sure. Shabana are going to win because this team, from this season, how this season started, it started in their favor. Okay. They started by beating PS Bomet 4-2, and that showed me that the Shabana that we expected that after this season they will be down, or after having impressive results last season, like Murang'a Seal and others who were promoted that season did, I think Shabana has stood out as the best among the teams that were promoted. So it is a team that is going to give headaches to the top four finishers. Kakamega Homeboys, AFC Leopards, and Gor Mahia, together with Shabana themselves. Shabana is looking sharp this season and is going to give sleepless night to the three teams at the top. Currently, they are tying points with Kakamega Homeboys. So if you find out that Kakamega Homeboys lost one of their players,
right,
and this is detrimental to their defense. Remember the story I gave you last Monday that there was a confrontation between him and his brother. So in that confrontation, the Kakamega Homeboys defender died, and we say rest in peace. But that will be, apart from that death, it will be detrimental to the Kakamega Homeboys defense. They are going to struggle without the defender.
Right, indeed. Mathare United later on will be in action against Tusker FC. Mathare endured a 1-2 defeat against KCB, and last time out, they're sitting 12th on the table, a few points behind Tusker FC, who are 8th, and last time out were held to a 1-1 draw against Posta Rangers. It is surprising that Tusker have not yet found the form that we thought they, we understand the changes took place at the club, but owing to the fact that the history that the rich history that this club has as far as the KPL is concerned, we would assume that they would bounce back and try get positive results. Do Mathare United offer that such kind of opportunity, or we're going to see another situation where a dismal performance by Tusker?
I'll say the game is a tight game. Even if you look at the odds, if you are a gambler and you are looking at the odds between Tusker and Mathare United, yes, Mathare United have been down, that's for sure. But on the other side, Tusker FC, they are not far away in performance from Mathare United. The difference between them is 6 points. Only 2 wins for Mathare United, and the difference can be, and they can tie in points.
Right.
So I'm sure to tell you that Tusker can win this game, but I don't expect more goals, or I don't expect the winning margin to exceed 2 goals.
Okay, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a breakdown on some of the games that you should expect as far as the KPL SportPesa League is concerned. We are taking a quick breather, but when we get back, we want to look at the international market. But actually, before we leave you, Makona, you mentioned something earlier before we started the broadcast, as far as some local news is concerned. And maybe you just give us a context around this. And this is with regards to the African Cup of Nations, yeah? Because many were concerned that after the changes that were made by the CAF, that the tournament will be taking a 4-year kind of system. And they had already given the go-ahead that the East African countries were to host the 2027 AFCON. How do you see this one coming out this time round? And I believe we are still yet to host. Give us some context and information on this.
I will say the meeting that happened in Dar es Salaam on Friday,
Right.
that was yesterday, it was a productive meeting. And the meeting result came out that the AFCON will not be postponed. Instead, it will be played here in Kenya. We'll be hosting Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. That's a good show that the AFCON president, that is Patrice Motsepe, said that if we postpone this thing up to 2028, we are giving the countries, especially Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, laziness to develop their stadiums. And I saw that was a valid point, because tell me why Talanta Stadium, what is remaining there is just a small bit of work, and that is the finishing of the stadium. So if we extend up to 2028, what will be the builders or the contractors doing at the ground up to 2028 for us to postpone? Nyayo and Kasarani currently are being renovated. And up to now, you find out that the KPL or the Kenya Premier League SportPesa games cannot be played there currently.
Right.
So the time from now up to 2027, that is in the summer, in the month of June, July, August, the fields should be ready. Remember, if CHAN was hosted here in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, it means AFCON also can happen. Despite us, our teams qualifying direct, but this is a privilege. This is a privilege also.
Right.
It is bringing business. It is bringing people to value our talents. And, you know, after the AFCON, how many players transferred to big clubs in Europe and all over the world?
A lot of players.
Many of the players transferred. So it is a plus to us.
Yes.
It is exposure to us, and it is the first time we are hosting the AFCON in East Africa. Since the world was created by God, we have never seen such a thing in East Africa. So it is one of the times that we have to rejoice and say, AFCON have remembered us. And we have to say that since it is coming to East Africa, how are we going to use it in our favor?
Right.
How are we going to use it to unearth talents and even develop infrastructure?
Right.
You know, look at the Rabat,
in Morocco, yes.
Yeah. When the AFCON was playing there, I was even, you know, before the game, the camera usually shows us the city and the location
the
of
environment of the area,
of the stadium. So it is the same way in Kenya. We have to see the city of Nairobi. They take us to Nyayo. They take us to Talanta Stadium, you know, and that is exposing our rich economy of Kenya. Also, I will say in 2028, hosting the AFCON in 2028 will be detrimental to any country, because after that, we have to go after 4 years, to play the AFCON after 4 years. That was a rule that was set.
Yes.
So tell me, if we play in 2028, it means another AFCON again will be 2032. So let's just play this AFCON in 2027 so that we have another chance of hosting again earlier, because I know it will be rotating. East Africa, South African countries, North Africa, then East Africa. So it means by 2040 something, we would have again hosted the AFCON, and that one will be better. So this is a learning time. This time we are just taking it to learn how to host.
Right.
Remember, the CHAN also, it was postponed. CHAN was to be played in 2024. And CHAN was played in 2025 because of infrastructure.
Right.
So if we keep postponing, it means we will not develop by that time. So it is a high time we play now. We know where we are going wrong. Even if the stadium will be too small to host the guests that will come, we will put television on the street so that even the guests can watch on the street as we continue to plan ourselves.
Very well.
So that in 2031, we make sure that even if it is South Africa that will be hosting, we will be there to develop and look how they do their things. Remember, the World Cup was hosted in 2010 in South Africa. So if we will say that we cannot host the World Cup in Africa, the FIFA will say that Africa is underdeveloped. We cannot host there. But I remember that time, there were only up to 4 stadiums in South Africa. They were not even larger than they are now, but South Africa managed to host the World Cup. So the World Cup is even bigger than the AFCON. So AFCON can be hosted here in Kenya. Hapa tu Kasarani hapa. Nyayo pale tunaweza cheza AFCON.
Wonderful.
So it is a big competition,
yes,
but it is not bigger than we think it is. According to the capacity that Nyayo can carry, the fans can sit there, watch the ball, and everything is okay.
Very well put. I mean, honestly speaking, there was that a bit of confusion whether are we going to host the tournament once again, because the declaration came immediately after the recently concluded tournament, and there were confusion whether are we going to host it, or now that means it takes effect immediately. So thank you so much for that information, because it now says us right that the East African countries, that is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, will be co-hosting that is 2027's African Cup of Nations. Let's done away with the local scene and the local aspect, and switching stances to the international scene. And first, I know there's a lot of FA Cup actions to talk about, but before we kick off onto that, Mr. Makona, there's a lot of news happening, a lot of changes happening, taking place as far as managerial positions and head coaches positions is concerned in the English Premier League and all over Europe. Let me first of all begin with when you look at Olympique Marseille, after the thrashing of PSG giving them 5-0 beating, they had to part ways. They said it was mutual understanding with Robert Dazabi, the head coach for Olympique Marseille. They are managerless, and they're playing today. We'll see how that pans out. We'll give you that particular results later on. And as far as the English Premier League is concerned, Nottingham Forest also parted ways with Sean Dyche, whom I call the relegation master. I don't know what's happening, because with only 12 games to go towards the end of the season, you would want to have a Sean Dyche personality in as far as a coach is concerned in your team. But then again, that is not the case with Nottingham Forest, with Marinakis now opting for someone he has worked with before, that is Vitor Pereira. Vitor Pereira managed Wolves before, in the Premier League, but he has also a couple of experiences. He has managed, the likes of Flamengo, the likes of Fenerbahce. And just like I started off by saying, back when, way back before, he did manage for Olympiacos. We know Marinakis is also the owner for Olympiacos. And during his time managing Olympiacos, he went ahead and even won the title with the Olympiacos. So there's some sense of trust between Marinakis and Vitor Pereira now coming in to manage Nottingham Forest. But let me hear from you. With 12 games to go, Nottingham Forest, the relegation threatened as well. Was it the right decision to let Sean Dyche go? And is Vitor Pereira the man to take them through out of this bad spot they are?
I will say it is just like a gambling game.
Right.
Because it is the players who play. Let's look, for example, Manchester United. Manchester United, after they parted with Ruben Amorim, the team started performing. That's for sure. They have won 3 out of 4 games. They have never lost, because the last game they played, it was a draw against West Ham. For sure, I will say the managers usually undergo pressure, especially if your team is in the relegation zone. Let's look, for example, Nottingham Forest, whose owner is Angelo Marinakis. Angelo Marinakis parted way with the former coach because of performance. Now, the team again is still just 3 points away from relegation zone, of which the relegation threatened teams are West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves. So if you balance the book and look at it very well, Angelo Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, is eager for the results, but the team itself is not playing in the manner that Nottingham Forest that we used to know last season.
Right.
If you look at the performance of Nottingham Forest last season and this season, I will say, despite them having sold players and having bought many players from the other teams, the team is still playing below the average. It's still playing like a team that needs to be in the championship. I will say one thing. It is the mentality of the players to make sure that they win every game, to make sure that they get positive results from the games. But the firing of managers and employing other managers, it is not the manager who performs. The manager only gives a tactical challenge to the players. He only gives the directions. And maybe on the touchlines, he gives those motivations. So in this, the firing of the coaches or the sacking of the coaches, Tottenham sacking their coach, Nottingham Forest also sacking their coach, it is because of the performance of the team.
Right.
The two teams are only 2 points from each other, and both Tottenham and Nottingham Forest are relegation threatened.
Right.
If you see the level of Tottenham and Nottingham, you find that Tottenham is classified among the traditional big six clubs in England. So each finishing or each being in the 16th position on the table, it means the team has not really worked hard. This Tottenham team needs to be in the top 6,
right,
because it is classified as the best 6 teams in England.
Wonderful.
Look at the table. Arsenal is in the first position. Manchester City is in the second position. Aston Villa, Manchester United, Chelsea is in the 5th position. Liverpool is in the 6th position. So in this traditional top 6, I will say Aston Villa has overtaken Tottenham to be in the top 6. So that is what is giving them the pressure. In the midweek, remember the pundits said that Tottenham at the moment cannot be classified as a big team. Remember, after they have sacked Thomas Frank, Tottenham, Thomas Frank himself and even the former coach, Ange Postecoglou, they both said that according to how they value Tottenham the time they were there, it is not classified as one of the big teams. This is because not only that Tottenham board doesn't buy players, no. Tottenham usually buy good players. Look at the likes of Xavi Simons. Look at the likes of Mohamed Kudus. These are players that are world class. But the performance of Tottenham, I will say it is dependent on the players.
Right.
So we cannot generalize this thing and say the managers are not performing. No, it is the players that are not performing. I will give you another example. When Mikel Arteta signed for Arsenal in 2019, Arsenal was not performing. I remember the first game Mikel Arteta managed against Manchester City. Arsenal were beaten 5-0 by Manchester City. The following game, they were beaten 2-0 by Chelsea. The third and the fourth game, they were beaten. Arsenal started resurrecting in the 5th game when Martin Odegaard scored the only free kick against Burnley. I remember it so well, like it was yesterday. So if you go with those facts and you say that if a team wants to rebuild and it maintains their coach, you cannot compare even that Arsenal that is playing today and the Arsenal of 2019. It is two different things.
Exactly.
Even if you look at the Manchester City, before Pep Guardiola arrived at Manchester City were finishing 15th, 17th, 18th there, or even sometimes they finish mid-table, meaning that they had no one to rebuild the team. But after that, after Pep Guardiola signing for Manchester City from Barcelona, was it from Bayern or Barcelona? He has managed to make the club win 6 titles, including the first ever Champions League for the club. So this thing of sacking and employing coaches doesn't change the performance.
Then one would ask then, when you have a situation like Tottenham, because you've teared into Tottenham really well, because they sacked Thomas Frank, who has we've seen he's a tactician, a good tactician. He did that really well with Brentford. But he has quality players. But one thing for sure is that Tottenham has really gone a lot of injuries, serious injuries. A lot of players have been out for quite a lot of time. James Maddison, Kulusevski, the list it goes on and on and on. And when you look at whom they're bringing in to replace Thomas Frank, Igor Tudor, Trudeau, who is well, his CV is a bit confusing because back in Juventus, in 2025, after being appointed as the interim manager, he managed to push to make sure Juventus finished fourth point at Serie A. Then he was later on sacked in the following season after going 8 games winless streak, right? Before he joined Juventus, he was at Lazio, and he resigned. Get this, he resigned after 11 games of managing 11 games. Before that, he was at Marseille, 2022-2023 season. He pushed them up to 3rd place, finishing in Ligue 1. Previously, he has managed Verona, the likes of Udinese, and the likes of Galatasaray. Now, I'll start off just like Nottingham Forest. You have 12 games to go, right? You bringing in a manager who clearly is seen as a tactician in many aspects. He's seen as one who has an authority because of his huge figure that he is, compared to Thomas Frank, who seems more friendly, more calm. Is it the right decision to make for Tottenham? And do you see them going ahead and getting results with this kind of the profile of a manager they have?
I'll disagree with you because, he is coming. Remember, I've heard you say he resigned.
Yes.
Somewhere because of
Lazio.
pressure.
Yes.
At Lazio because
after 11 games.
Imagine 11 games you are resigning. That was after the pressure at Lazio because Lazio wanted performance.
Performance, yes.
Now, Tottenham here...
Performance is what is needed.
They want performance, and this performance is not to win anything. It is to fight relegation. And you know how hard is it to
tough.
fight relegation in the English Premier League. Look at the likes of Wolverhampton, Burnley, and West Ham. They are relegation threatened. You cannot tell me West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves will just be looking at Tottenham fighting relegation without
especially
them
West
also.
Ham.
Especially West Ham.
Yes.
And Nottingham Forest. They will all be fighting to remain in the English Premier League. So if we go with that mentality that Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, West Ham, they are both fighting to remain in the English Premier League. We can say at the moment, Burnley and Wolves could be relegated. It is the probability of them being relegated is over 70%. So we can say Burnley and Wolves have been relegated. So among the 3 teams that are remaining, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham,
one has to be there.
One has to be relegated, and 2 have to remain. So the probability of Tottenham being relegated is higher than even the probability of Nottingham Forest and West Ham being relegated. Simply because this Tottenham, despite them drawing 2-2 against Manchester City, next weekend, because this weekend is completely a fair games.
Yes.
There's no English Premier League. Next weekend they are facing North London derby.
Right.
Arsenal are looking to win the title. Tottenham is looking to remain the English Premier League. The probability, although we are not in the next weekend, is that Arsenal are going to beat Tottenham. So, why are you laughing when
I knew you were going to say Arsenal is going to beat Tottenham.
When I'm giving you the facts. So, Nottingham Forest, together with West Ham, can win. Remember, if Nottingham Forest win, they will go past Tottenham. They will be having 30 points. That is 1 point above Tottenham. So that is the probability that Nottingham Forest is going to escape relegation. Then, if also West Ham wins, it will be 27 points, only 2 points behind Tottenham. Remember, there are still other games that are hard for Tottenham to fight to remain in the English Premier League.
Exactly.
So I will say the coach, Igor Tudor, has that mentality of winning games.
Right.
But in the English Premier League, especially if you are fighting relegation, it is so different.
It is so different.
You cannot even at some point compare the Italy Serie A and the English Premier League. Remember, if you take West Ham to the Italy Serie A, I'm sure it is going to finish top 10. If you take this Wolverhampton that is struggling in the English Premier League with, let's say, 1 win per 3 months, I can tell you, in the Italy Serie A, Wolverhampton cannot finish in the bottom table.
Okay.
That's for sure. So, in my view, the coaches that are coming in, especially for Nottingham Forest and Tottenham, they are coming in to try and make the clubs not to be relegated, of which between these two games, 12 remaining games, they can also be sacked.
Exactly.
Because the team is looking to remain.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for that. And indeed, that was in Lazio 2024. Just after 11 games, Igor Tudor decided to resign as the manager. We have only 12 games remaining as far as the Premier League is concerned. Do we believe he can hold fort to try and rescue Tottenham Hotspur from the jaws of relegation? Vitor Pereira has been charged with the responsibility of guiding Nottingham Forest as well past the relegation zone. This is only one way to find out, and this will be after 12 games. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know your opinion as far as the appointments are concerned, that is Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. As we move on and we wind up to today's broadcast, FA Cup action, Mr. Makwana, we have a lot of enticing games to look out for. Yesterday, Hull City welcomed Chelsea, and Liam Rizzono's team did really well with the likes of Neto having a hat-trick in that game. They played really well, Chelsea. And, kudos to the way they played, because so far so good. I do feel personally that the new management for Chelsea, that is Liam Rizzono, has not really gotten a challenger, a good challenger. The only two teams the only team that I think he has faced to give him proper challenge was Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, the first leg and the second leg. Now he found out that the wrong way. Arsenal won all of the games, but the other fixtures have been quite flexible for him. Worthy of his opponents, and he has managed to win them. But then again, his next coming up games will be crucial to try and test his might. I don't know what you make of that particular game, and also perhaps you could guide us with some of the games that are happening today.
Yesterday, Chelsea winning 4-0 against Hull City. That is what we expected. And also, Resham yesterday beat Ipswich 1-0.
Right.
So those were the round 4 games that opened the competition yesterday. So if you look at how Chelsea fared on yesterday, that is what we expected from Chelsea. The only game that gave them goosebumps was against Arsenal. And even the coach himself said Arsenal, at the level they are playing and how they scored that last goal, they deserve it. So I cannot be against Liam Rizzono. I can say Arsenal did very well against them. So today West Ham will be facing Burton. That is in the next 17 minutes. That is 3:15. Then we have Man City will be facing Salford at 6 p.m.
Right.
We have Leicester facing Southampton. Remember, in the championship, Leicester were leading 3-0 against Southampton, and abruptly, Southampton
4-3.
came from behind to beat them 4-3.
Yes.
So today we are expecting another surprise again.
Right.
Especially Southampton are at home.
Right.
Then Burnley in the English, Burnley from the English Premier League will be facing Mansfield from the League One. Then Norwich versus Brentford Norwich versus West Brom will be 6 p.m.
Right.
Then other games today, big games will be Aston Villa versus Newcastle,
right.
8:45 p.m. at night. Then 11 p.m. we will be having Brighton away to Liverpool.
Exactly.
This is another game that we are looking we are looking forward to watch it tonight. Tonight we will not be sleeping. Watching Liverpool. Brighton must do their thing as well.
Yes, and let us just start with that particular game, Brighton and Liverpool. I know it's the last game tonight, but then again, Liverpool, is it safe to say that they understand really well that they fell off the title chase as far as the Premiership is concerned, as far as the Premier League is concerned? They are not anywhere even as far as top 2 or 3 is concerned. And Champions League, Kidogo, they're not so sure as far as their performance is. They'll be having patchy performances, in and out kind of performances. And this time round against Brighton, it provides them another opportunity to stay in a big cup, to try and get good results. Do we see them having a go at this one and getting past Brighton? Brighton, because these two games have always produced a lot of goals, right? These two teams, whenever they play, it's over 2.5, over 3 goals and above. Are we seeing a similar situation? Because we understand the kind of threat that Brighton brings to the table.
I will say I don't expect Liverpool to win by a large margin because I will say in this competition, it is in the knockout stage. And in the knockout stage, you never know what the opponent has planned for you. If we look at the last 10 games, the two sides has faced each other. Liverpool has won 5. Draw has been 2 games. Then Brighton on the other side have won 3 games. This means that the difference between them is only that Liverpool have won 5 and Brighton have won 3. That is a difference of 2 games. I will tell you for sure, it is going. Brighton is going to give Liverpool a hard time today, despite them being at Anfield. Remember, Liverpool in the English Premier League has not been good. In the Champions League, have been not good. And then in the Carabao Cup, they were eliminated earlier on. So this game is going to prove that which side is best suited, because currently Liverpool, how they played against Manchester City, I'll not give you an assurance that Liverpool is going to win today. Look, Liverpool were already beating Manchester City 1-0.
Yes.
But how Manchester City resurrected,
come back,
and in the last, let's say like 20 minutes,
yes,
including added time,
they were the better team. Yeah,
Manchester City played like prime Barcelona, and they even scored the 3rd goal, and it was cancelled by VAR, yes, because Szoboszlai did a last tackle, a last man tackle to Erling Haaland.
Alikufia team.
Yeah, and let me tell you, if Liverpool continue to play the way they played against Manchester City, I will give Brighton a direct ticket.
Okay.
But knowing that this is at the knockout stage, I give Liverpool a sympathy of 2-1 against Brighton.
All right, Aston Villa are at home against the tough Newcastle side. This is another game that I'm seeing mixed results, because two teams at the moment are having, again, they're having results that are not worth it. They're patchy results. All right, because one moment they're doing really well, the other moment they're not doing really well. But for Aston Villa appear a good side. Unai Emery has done really well with little that he has been having at his disposal. He let the likes. He let off really good players to go in the January transfer window. The likes of Donny Malen, who was doing really well up front, just immediately he had lost also Oli Watkins through injury. But now he has been back. But the whole team. Do you see the qualities, the individual qualities, helping Aston Villa get past Newcastle, or Newcastle, the way they like playing as a compact team, are going to hold off Aston Villa?
I will say Aston Villa at this moment, they are looking sharp than Newcastle. Newcastle has had a mixed result because their consistency is not there at Newcastle. That's for sure. The last game they played in the English Premier League, they were beaten by Brentford. That shows you that Newcastle, especially, they were beaten at home by Brentford. I can assure you that Newcastle today cannot comfortably win against Aston Villa. It is a matter of Aston Villa win or draw, because Aston Villa will be looking to write history today, because in the last 10 games, Newcastle has won 5.
Right.
2 have ended in a draw, and Aston Villa have won 3. So, following that context, we can say Aston Villa being at home, the game being at Aston Villa place, it means that this thing, despite it being a knockout stage, I cannot compare, or I cannot say that Newcastle is good away compared to Aston Villa. Aston Villa at home, they have managed to produce one of the best results.
Okay.
So I go with Aston Villa.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just a glimpse of the games happening today. Tomorrow, do we have actions, and what teams should we look out for?
Tomorrow we are looking at Arsenal. We'll be playing Wigan at 7:30 p.m. Then we have Birmingham playing against Leeds. Then other big game we can look is Brentford will be playing against Macclesfield Town.
All right.
Not forgetting Sunderland will be playing against Oxford, and Fulham will be playing against Stoke City from the Championship.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that breakdown. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the business end of the broadcast. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let us know through our social media platforms and your predictions of these games this weekend. On Monday, Felix Makona alongside Molosh, Chris Mololo will be here to unpack the results, and we will see how you have fared on as far as the predictions are concerned. Thank you once again for staying with us. I've been your host, Bill Clinton Odiambo, alongside my colleague Felix Makona. Our sign language interpreter has been Wanja Ngede. Thank you for staying with us. See you around. Have a good weekend.